Hey, what's going on, guys? So what we're going to do is just a quick video of the proper and safest way that I believe is the best way to put a subwoofer in. Now, other people are going to say probably the same thing, or maybe they do something a little bit different. I want to do it the safest way, where I'm not destroying the wood where the screw is bolting into or screwing into, and just so there's a nice tight fit so I don't mess up the gasket, because I have a regular drill. Now it has this protector that goes around it, and that's nice for whenever you're screwing something in. I know a lot of you guys, I've done it, I see it all the time. Quick fix E6000, but it doesn't look great when you're screwing your speaker in and drill falls right off and goes right in the surround or right into the cone, and that's no good for anybody. So these are really nice to help control that and help keep that in there, so that whenever you're screwing it in, that it doesn't fall off of that. Now the problem with that is whenever I go all the way in here, as you can see, I'm right smack up against that.
Just look at it.
If these were my subs, I wouldn't care so much, but they're not. These are 215 L7R dual 2s. This is an 8 cubic foot box tuned around 31 hertz. Port area is about 64 square inches, 8-inch port square. So very musical box. Haven't tested it yet, but that's what we're going to do today. Stained it and gave it a nice gloss finish. Not as dark of a stain that I wanted, but you know what, it gives you that original look, I guess you could say, of wood, but better. We're going to do this and get right to it. Alright, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go with the 4 corners, but not so much the outside corners. I'm going to go from here, and I'm going to go directly diagonally across, and I'm going to do that for both sides. Now what I do here is I don't go all the way down, because I'm not sure if you've ever tried it where you just, put one screw in at a time and you full send it, and then the sub kind of kicks up, and then that's going to throw off your angle for your next screw. Alright, so those two are done right there. Now I'm going to do the opposite corners, but on the other sides. Alright, now what I did there is these 4 screws right here are pretty much alignment, where I want to get the sub close as I can to where I want it to be after I already measured everything out so that they're straight. So whenever I'm putting these screws in, I'm going to put them down a little bit further, but because of this situation, I can't go the whole way. Otherwise, I probably would after the second or third one. I'd go back and hit it. So what we're going to do is the same thing, but we're going to go a little bit farther now that we already have our lining up screws. As you can see, I'm kind of going like an X pattern. No pun intended. Pinch my finger there a little bit. Careful for that. Okay, now that I got these 4 a lot lower than the other ones, and these ones are already kind of lined up, if you will, what I'm going to do, since I don't have the right end piece here, I can't enter this into the drill, and it's going to defeat the purpose of what I'm doing. It's still going to hit. So what I'm going to do is, for the ones that are closer down, I'm going to tighten them all the way down. But what I'm going to do is tighten it right to the point where it gets tight. I'm not going to go full tight, just right there, just where you start to feel that tension. Because you're going to have the same problem no matter if you have these lined up, if the basket's going to kick up. And you don't want that. Now, quick statement. If you have like a double baffle, sometimes you can pre-drill because then you have enough screw for it to hook onto. Now for this one here, I'm not pre-drilling because, I mean, pre-drilling helps so that the wood doesn't split, but if you go too big on a pre-drill, you're not going to have enough grip, and next thing you know, your sub's coming out of your box. So I kind of just, you know, take my time on it, and I don't really run too big of screws. I have just general purpose number 6s, and they're 2 inches long. I've realized no matter, you know, if you go more than 2 inches, the screw doesn't have the windings all the way up, and that kind of defeats the purpose, especially if you have single baffle, because then you don't have that much hooking onto it, because that's almost a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch no screw, and so then you have like 1 or 2 plies holding the sub down. So the 2-inch screw is the best in this situation, unless you run like hex bolts or something different. All right, so now to speed things up a little bit, you could do the just a regular screwdriver. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do what I did the other ones, take it down as much as I can, and then hit it back with the screwdriver. That's convenient. Like I said, almost all the way tight, not entirely. Because throughout this whole process, you could still have one kick up on you, and you don't want that to any degree. Just because. You don't want to have to go back and fill the hole with, you know, putty or whatever you got, the wood filler, just so you can re-screw it or re-baffle the entire box, which that's no fun. Yeah, I like not pre-drilling my speakers just because you get that nice tight grip. All right, now, just like I've been doing everything, now everything's pretty tight. It's not 100%. It's like 95, 98% tight. So what we're gonna do the X pattern. Now we don't have much room for error. So now we're gonna go entirely tight, but in the X format. You don't wanna go too far. You wanna go just where it's you know, pretty hard to turn it any farther, and you feel like, you know, if you hear the wood splitting, you went too far. You'll get the hang of it more that you do it, how tight you need to go. But you don't want to go not tight enough, and then the speaker vibrating, and the next thing you know, your screws are just coming out. So like how you heard that little snap? It was there. Sometimes you'll get little snaps too, just because you didn't pre-drill. That's good. Now, it doesn't matter which way you go on the X to start, you just kind of want to finish the same way. And then kind of what I do is just, you know, go over each one. Doesn't really matter what order. Just double check, make sure everything's nice and tight. I go in order just so I don't forget which one I did last, because I don't want to, you know, do every one except one and then that one come out. Yeah, they were all good. Cool. All right, well, there we go. Now, stay tuned for more videos. I'll try to put out more stuff like this, stuff that I do, and tutorials, and just talk about stuff, or, you know, whatever it has to be, something with bass. So stay tuned. I hope my buddy really likes this system, and because he's upgrading from a prefab, he's got this on a CX 1800.1. So we're gonna run it like this, but I designed it to do pretty good on low power, and then if he wants to add more, there's room to add more power. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring that bell.